of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I am your host, Noah Love, and tonight we will be talking about everything NCAA tournament related. We are set with 16. The round of 32 has concluded. I will give you all of my thoughts, opinions on these games, and I'll preview a couple of the Sweet 16 games, which should be interesting. All right, let's get it started because we have a lot to go through. Saturday started off with Purdue and McNeese. Not really gonna sweat too much on this game. Purdue, they dominated McNeese. That's what it was. They dominated. This game was over about at the 18-minute mark or 18-minute mark. Probably the probably like the 10-minute mark of the first half, kind of over. McNeese just didn't have enough offense, couldn't make a push. They were imploding. Purdue said, we're going to get the ball down to Trey Kaufman-Renn, and you're not going to be able to stop it. But how about Matt Painter getting this team to the Sweet 16? Now, granted, I thought they got great draw. I picked them to go to the Sweet 16. But man, 6 times in 8 years, they're in the Sweet 16. Props to Painter. Props. Now, the game I want to focus some time on and really try to analyze. Arkansas St. John's. Arkansas upsets number 2 seeded St. John's. Cal upsets Patino. This is one of John Calipari's best coaching jobs, hand down. To get this team to the Sweet 16 when they have been injured all year, it didn't seem like they were gelling. Incredible. The magical ride for St. John's comes to an end. It's tough. They just couldn't make a shot. Let's be realistic. Game was really physical, but they just could not make a shot. Mainly a 3 look. Outside of Zuby Ejiofor, your two other best players, Kadari Richmond and RJ Lewis, shot combined 5 for 24. And they were 0 for 4 from 3. By the way, Richmond, now he only played 16 minutes. He fouled out. That's what really killed him. RJ Lewis just could not buy a bucket, and defensively wasn't getting it done either. Aaron Scott wasn't getting it done either. He was 1 for 10. Arkansas didn't shoot it particularly well either. I mean, the 3-pointers didn't go, but they got into the lane. They made in the second half, really, to me, what was interesting was they didn't run offense. I mean, they just said, hey, DJ Wagner, get into the lane. We're going to get into the paint. They didn't really run sets. Billy Richmond at 16 off the bench. That was huge for a freshman. Boogie Fland, he played 20, made some huge plays in this game. Getting him back. I mean, getting him being available for the tournament, I didn't know if that was smart. I thought he might disrupt the rhythm a little bit, but he's played decent for a guy coming off an injury, and now they are in the Sweet 16. The key to this game was rebounding. The offensive rebound. Like, you could see it. Like, St. John's grabbed 28 offensive rebounds. They out-rebounded Arkansas, but they just couldn't get anything to fall. I mean, they shot 28%. 2 for 22 from 3. Arkansas had what? That's 12 less shots that they had in the game. So if you're Patino, if you're St. John's, this one is going to sting, but I don't think you should uh, hold your head down. I think you should hold your head up high. You made New York City proud, and you had a great season. The major storyline coming out of the game was RJ Lewis Jr. being benched. The Big East Player of the Year being benched in the last, I believe it was 34 minutes of the game. Here's my thoughts on it. He was playing like dog water. He wasn't giving them anything. He was 3 of 17 from the field. When he came back in, he had got beat on a blow by. He wasn't guarding like he was supposed to. There was a play where he was instructed to get the ball to the post, and he just took a contested mid-range jump shot. He was getting frustrated because he knew he was having his best game. But Patino said, look, this guy's hurting me. I'm trying to win the game. And I know this is a new day and age of basketball where, you got to ride with your guy. And from some points, I can understand that. But he was playing bad. He wasn't helping you win the game. Now, you lost the game anyways. I think Kadari Richmond getting fifth foul really killed you. But, yeah, my thoughts on it is I think he did the right thing. I don't think he should be getting killed for it. I really don't. He was playing bad. Outside of Zuby Ejiofor, in terms of their stars, that's the only one who showed up. Zuby Ejiofor at 23 and 12. Outside of him, is the only showed up. He's the only of those that big three, Richmond, Lewis. He showed up. And then your three other best players were a no-show in the biggest game of the year. Like, outside of Ejiofor, who I think was the best player on the floor, the next three best players on the floor was Arkansas. Really, next four: Carter Knox, DJ Wagner, Billy Richmond, John L. Davis. And Jonas Aidoo, they just St. John's didn't play their best game. It's basically what it came down to. Their guys did not show up in the key moments. And Arkansas's guys did. They were able to pull through. Now they're going to the Sweet 16. Cal beats Patino. Insanity. But they're going to face a tough Texas Tech team. Texas Tech ends the best story in college basketball, the Cinderella run of Drake. Look, Drake, great season, 31 and 4. By the way, got news that Ben McCullum most likely is now going to Iowa. It's tough. This is why mid-majors can't build a program. They competed, man. They had a tough time stopping Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech was just in a rhythm. In terms of their bench, they didn't really get much, but they didn't need it. Elijah Hawkins had 16. Darren Williams and JT Tompkins were incredible in this basketball game. Darren Williams had 28. JT Tompkins had 25 and 12. I mean, Sturts, he played well. Look, he had 21 points, 8 assists, man. Drake battled. They just struggled to get stops, which is rare for them this season because they really locked down. But look, for Drake, great run. Great. They competed. They showed they could hang with the big dogs. They have nothing to be ashamed of. Now I'm kind of sad for them because it's going to be their third head coach in 3 years. They just find a way to keep winning. They DeVries leaves after taking them on tournament back-to-back years. Now McCollum, you're even better. and now McCollum leaves. So let's see. Maybe the Missouri Valley is wide open, or will Drake continue to take it? I don't know. But Texas Tech to the Sweet 16 and against Arkansas, and there's a very real chance Texas Tech could be into the Elite Eight. Okay, after that, Michigan, the Wolverines, who we thought they were dead several weeks ago. They're not. Dusty May has won a Big Ten tournament championship, and he is going to the Sweet 16. They beat A&M. They scored 56 points in the second half. 56 points. Look, the reason they won, Roddy Gale gets 26 points. Look, no, look, you can tell me anything you want to about this team. They're tough, they're gritty, but without if Roddy Gale doesn't go for 26, they don't win this game. I thought A&M played a decent game. Wade Taylor didn't have his best game. They didn't defend like they have been doing all season. They Michigan. The key was they out rebounded them in the game. They have more offensive rebounds, and then in total rebounds, they out rebounded them by 9. Texas A&M gets on the glass a lot. For A&M, it's a tough end to the season. For Michigan, you're and look, they have a history of going on deep runs. You saw 2013, uh, they made a run. Obviously, 2017 made a run to Sweet 16. Obviously, Fab 5 days. 2018 they made a run to the national title game. So they have a history of this, and I think they're gonna get the number one overall seed. Problems, yes, Auburn advanced. What a shocker! They beat Creighton 82-70. Not really a shocker. Sarcasm. Look, Auburn did what they had to do. Your best players have to show up. And for Auburn, look, top big game Pettiford, big game Todd. He was huge with 23 points off the bench, one of the best freshmen in the country this season. The National Player of the Year was held, or potential National Player of the Year was held to 8 points. Cole Brenner did a great job. That's what I'm going to say. Those two bigs may give some trouble, but Broom, I mean, yes, he had 12 boards, but he only had 8 points. They shut him down. Chad Baker Mazar at 17, he was cooking, but then he got a little bit injured middle of the game. They're on to their first Sweet 16 since 2019. Creighton put up a valiant effort, was up 2 at the half. Arbitrage too good. Their guard play too good. And now they're got a date with the Michigan Wolverines. By the way, they had 11 offensive rebounds. Creighton only had 4. Look, you got to keep Auburn off the glass if you're going to win a game. If you're going to beat them. Auburn is really good. I don't think they're playing the best in the tournament. Right now, I think the best team right now who's playing, well, actually today, Duke. We'll get to them a little later, but great win for Auburn. They advanced to take on Michigan in Atlanta, Georgia, with a chance to advance to the Elite Eight. Speaking of another team that advanced, this team will take on Purdue. The number 1 seed Gonzaga Bulldog, number 1 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs. Wow. Number 1 seed Houston Cougars eliminate the 8 seed Gonzaga Bulldogs. Gonzaga's 9 straight Sweet 16s ends. This was a whale of a basketball game. Look, the viewing experience was peak between this game and Wisconsin BYU, like peak. Graham Ike at 27 for Gonzaga. He carried. He did all he could. I thought Gonzaga, I mean, it felt like every time they made a run until the end, Houston had an answer. Houston was struggling late with the presses and the traps. Cryer turned it over. Look, this kid LJ Cryer, or this guy LJ Cryer, 36 threes. Every time the Gonzaga crowd tried to get on their feet, had a silencer every single time. He had 30. Just had a silence for Jerron Roberts played really well. He had 18 points, but got into some foul trouble. Look, Houston, the difference I think between this year and other years is one, they're healthy, and two, like having a guy like LJ Cryer in big moments that can go off the bounce and get it. And they guard, man. They guard. I mean, look, Gonzaga, they were efficient in the game. I give them credit. By the way, 13 offensive rebounds to 5. Again, offensive rebounds, second chance. Since those are huge in the NCAA tournament. It seems to be a recurring theme. Houston guards. Gonzaga gave him trouble though with the two bigs, especially EK could get his so good in the post and then could step out and really hit a 3-pointer, and then he's got 18, 20-footer. You know, Gonzaga, look, if Gonzaga was playing probably any of the other one seeds outside of Duke, they probably win the game. But Houston battled, both teams battled. It was an incredible game. Look, Gonzaga, they have nothing to be ashamed of. There's no shame in losing to Houston by 5 points. There's no shame in that. Houston advances to Indianapolis to take on the Purdue Boilermakers, which will essentially be a home game for Purdue. But I think Purdue is, look, I don't know if they're ready for Houston, but we'll talk about that later this week. Tennessee advances 67-58. Look, this was peak Tennessee. Peak Tennessee in the game. And I say it was peak Tennessee because they played terrific. Look, people are going to say, oh, they only won by 9. Bro, the game, they were up by as many as like 15, 16. They let a couple shots go. UCLA kept fighting. The defense was spectacular. Held them to 35.8% shooting. Held them. I thought, look, Chaz Lanier has been on fire in this tournament. He had 6 threes against Wofford. He has 4. He had 4 against UCLA. I thought Ziegler was great again, have 15 points. But again, when this team is hitting their threes and they're defending, because Tennessee has the ability, they can just wear you down, man. I mean, they can just wear you down. They just have that ability. And then if they're hitting their threes, I mean, good luck. I think we potentially will see a Tennessee-Houston regional final. I really do. Gainey was good off the bench with 13. And I think that will be a defensive battle. But Tennessee advances to the Sweet 16. And their opponent, actually, before I get to their opponent, I almost forgot one game, which was the best one of the day, Wisconsin BYU. Let's talk about it real quick. Kevin Young, in his first year, has took BYU to the Sweet 16. Look, it was a heavy BYU crowd in Denver, obviously on the West Coast. This game had everything. It got chippy at times. Look, BYU almost blew the game two at the end. Can't turn it over twice. Can't not get a good look. But Richie Saunders just doing everything what you need him to do. 25 points. They've got other good players, and these guys could just flat out shoot it. They were 12 to 26 from three. They just can score the basketball, man. What kept Wisconsin in the game late was the Dawson Baker flagrant. After that, they outscored them. I believe it was 13-5. Yeah. John Tonje, I want to give him his flowers. He tried everything to get Wisconsin to this win. 37 points for him. He was fantastic. He hit from three, hit from mid range, got to the line. I know that last shot. Look, Tanjay, don't pick up your dribble there, man. You could have got all the way to the rim. You didn't have to pick up your dribble. This was the best game of, I think this was still the best game of the tournament so far. This game was just fun to watch, high pace, up and down action, physical, the crowd, the atmosphere, insane. Wisconsin just couldn't guard, they just couldn't get over the hump. They were down double figures. They just kept fighting, kept fighting. But BYU, man, they advanced 91-89. That last defensive possession was big time, forcing them, even though if he just, again, drives, he doesn't have to pick up his dribble, but not fouling, forcing them to double clutch, and then getting the rebound and running out with it. I mean, what a gutsy win for the Cougars. And now they advance. And now they advance to the Sweet 16 for the first time since Jimmer Fredette, 2011. You gotta say that's impressive. Yeah, that's impressive for BYU. And they will take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama beat St. Mary's 80-66. Look, if you watch this game, you kind of knew St. Mary's. But even St. Mary's wasn't going to win because St. Mary's was challenged offensively. You saw it against Vandy. They were challenged offensively. There was a stretch, about 6 minutes, I believe, in the first half, they could not get a bucket. They got down 13, and they couldn't really climb out of the hole. Alabama was solid defensively. I do give them that. Now the one thing they struggle with in the tournament is the rebounding category. They've struggled rebounding against Robert Morris and against St. Mary's. Look, it was just for them a very balanced performance. Nobody went crazy. Now they did have some highlight dunks from Grant Nelson and Clever Maury. But look, there's not much to say on this game. Alabama advances. By the way, it's 3 straight Sweet 16s for Nate Oates, one of the best coaches to do it right now in the game. They're going to try to see if they can get back to the Final Four. Alabama, BYU, just quick thoughts. It's going to be cinema. Look, that game is going to be so fast-paced, up and down, a lot of threes shot, because that's how both teams really want to play. And whoever guards play better, they'll win the game. That's what it is. Now, to kick off the day, it was probably I think it was the best game of the day. Florida and UConn. Florida knocks off the 2-time defending champs, and the three-peat is dead. UConn beat Oklahoma in the first round Florida beat Norfolk State. This game had everything. Early going, there was some there was some struggle in terms of putting the ball in the bucket for both teams, and honestly, I thought that favored UConn because what you want against Florida is you don't want them to be getting out and running and making a lot of threes. They have shot makers, they have guys that can run. You didn't want that. You want to limit the turnovers, limit the fast breaks. Thought UConn did a great job of that. UConn made them play a Big East style of game. They played with the heart of a champion today. I know Dan Early gets stuff on social medias because people don't like his antics sometimes, which I'm not the biggest fan of his antics, but like him or love him, he's going to be here for the next decade. UConn will win another national title with him at the helm. They will. He's a great coach. He has guys ready to play. Honestly, they were up three was at the 3 minute timeout. And then Walter Clayton Jr. just said, you know what? I got this. Struggled most of the day, but never wavered. He had the two big threes. Obviously, Elijah Martin had the two big jams. Look, when you're in the NCAA tournament, you are going to be tested. We know this. You're going to be tested. Florida was tested today. I thought Florida overall, this wasn't their cleanest game. Florida did not play as well as they did coming into the tournament. Now against Norfolk State, that second half, boy, cannot take your foot off the gas. But I think you saw some weaknesses. I think if you can muck the game up. Now, there's not a lot of teams left in the region that I believe can do that in their region. I don't think Maryland, that's not how they want to play. That's not how Texas Tech wants to play. Maybe Arkansas, but I don't know if Arkansas has enough firepower. Their bigs, I thought, did a good job being active. The defense, they really turned up the intensity. Look, I thought the pressure was getting to them some because they were missing free throws that they usually make. Uh, Look, UConn, again, they played with the heart of the champion. They fought. And if you're Dan Hurley, that's all you can ask for. Continue to fight. And that's what they did. I thought Terrace Reed was really good. I thought Diarra, I thought he gave him a lift as well. Samson Johnson as well. I thought both picks for UConn was terrific. McNeely, the freshman, who will probably leave, be gone. He's going to be a lottery pick, I think. It's a tough loss, but UConn, UConn will be back. UConn's fine. They'll be back. Florida just too good, man. It took a lot. Look, those three guards, I mean, even today, Richard at 15 hit some huge threes early. Clayton with 23. Elijah Martin with 18. Again, this Florida team is the best since 2014 when they made the Final Four, no doubt. You can make a case if they get to the Final Four and win a championship that they could be up there with one of the teams Billy Donovan won a championship with. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying you could make that case, but they gotta finish. Look, they get a very talented Maryland team on, I believe, Friday night in San Francisco. I think it's on Friday or whichever day it's on. Very talented Maryland team that doesn't have a lot of depth yet. Florida gets it done against UConn, and Florida advances in the West region. Outstanding game. Great job by Todd Golden. Maryland against Colorado State. 72-71. Maryland, the game winner by Derek Queen. I'm clearing this up right now. That was not a travel. He took 2 steps. I don't know. You've got all these Twitter refs and Instagram refs. He didn't travel. He didn't travel. He took 2 steps and went up. That's not a travel. He didn't run with the ball. He took a dribble. There's a breakdown on Twitter, I think, by a guy I follow, Ant Wright. You could go check it out. He didn't travel. In real time, I didn't think he traveled. On the replay, I didn't think he traveled. How do some of y'all think he traveled? I don't understand. That's beyond me. Look, Colorado State battled in this game. Nick Clifford was fantastic, like he was against Memphis when they pulled off the upset. Great for the Mountain West. They hit the big shot to go up at one, and then look, Maryland fans have been getting PTSD because their last 5 losses have been on buzzer beaters, and you're just thinking, or not again. Derek Queen says, "I'm not going home yet, not tonight," and he put it in. And so by the way, I thought the front court, him and Reese, were spectacular. I thought in this game. Now they go on to take Florida. Maryland starting 5 is as good as anybody in the country. The issue is they don't have a lot of depth. Outside of Geronimo, they play basically 6 guys. Geronimo plays some, but outside that, they play basically 6 guys. So, look, against the depths of Florida, that's going to be an issue. Look, this was a great game, great season for Colorado State. From a team that it looked like wasn't going to make the tournament, they won the Mountain West title. They go on and they beat Memphis, upset them, and then they almost had a Sweet 16 appearance. But Derek Queen just looked talented freshman. He's going to be a lottery pick, can handle the ball, can block shots, can shoot from the outside, has great IQ, can do it all. Maryland advances in an unbelievable game. This is March. Okay, let's just get to the team who I believe is playing the best in the tournament now. The Duke Blue Devils, 89-66. Duke, okay, they blew out their 16 seed. Now they blow out Baylor, 89-66. The reason they're playing this well, obviously Cooper Flag, but man, Tyrese Proctor is shooting the lights out the ball. He was unconscious today. Couldn't miss. Hit 7 threes. Their defense, Con Knipple didn't, we know he has the 20-plus point ability. He only had 12 today. Didn't have to do that much. He just does what the team needs to win. This team is so talented, man, from Duke, up and down the roster. The Duke played great. They blocked shots. They defended. They did. Duke 33-3. People are going to be like, well, they only played in ACC. Look, they're good for a reason. They're great for a reason. Duke, you knew it was kind of over when O'Meara went out with that 3rd foul. When he went out, you knew, okay, it's done. And look, if you're Baylor, look, there's no shame in losing to this Duke team. But ever since you've won the national title, you haven't made a Sweet 16. That's a little bit concerning, considering you didn't have that problem in years past before the championship. But Duke's advancing to the Sweet 16. Not much there. This team, look, if they defend like this, they're going to win the national title. I just tell you, if they keep defending like this, maybe Florida, but if they defend like that, they or at least get into the championship game, no doubt. They will take on Arizona. Arizona beat Oregon 87-83. This was one whale of a basketball game. Bill Walton, this game was for you. It was a little bit of a throwback of a Pac-12 after dark in the NCAA tournament. Caleb Love. That's the reason they won the game. I thought KJ Lewis was good on the defensive end, but I really just saw Caleb Love. He just took over the game, 29 points. He was fantastic. He was fantastic. I thought obviously defensively Arizona, they're not great, but I thought they got stopped when they needed to. And they just play, man. Now Trey Townsend didn't play a lot in this game. He didn't play a lot. The X factor was Toby Awaka. His defense, look, 12 points, 14 rebounds. His presence against Biddle was big time. I thought they shot the three ball well too. Look, 10 for 20, 50% from three. That was huge. I thought Del Rosso in 18 minutes, you come in and give him 12 points. I thought he gave them big time minutes in the time he was in there. But Arizona advances to take on Oregon. It is now Caleb Love versus Duke. Can he do it one more time? We will see. He's going to have a tough time, though, against that team. Kentucky, for the first time since 2019, they're in the Sweet 16. They beat Illinois to advance to the Sweet 16 to take on Tennessee in Indianapolis, 84-75. Turnovers was a big problem for the Illini. And they also couldn't stop Kentucky. Kentucky has played real good defense in the first two games. We talk about their offense a lot, but their defense they've really fixed some things, has shown up. I thought Kobe Bria was fantastic. I thought Williams played a good game. Otega Owe did Otega Owe things. I thought Lamont Butler's pressure on Jaka Jonas was great. Boswell for Illinois, 23 points, played a good game. But Will Riley, he got it going against Xavier, then could not get it going against Kentucky and Illinois. They go home. Decent season. Not the season you wanted, though. It was an up and down team. They got a tough matchup. It is what it is. But Mark, talk about that. Just let's think about this for a second. Cal leaves to go to Arkansas. They're in the Sweet 16. Kentucky says, oh, well, let's go get a Kentucky guy who's won and knows what this program's about. They go and get Mark Pope. Now, they're in the Sweet 16. And BYU says, well, let's do this guy, Kevin Young, let's give him a shot. We hire him. They're in the Sweet 16. College basketball is the best sometimes, and you can't convince me otherwise. You just can't do it. They're looking to beat Tennessee for the third time. Do I think they'll do it? We'll see. We'll see, man. We will see. Quickly, Ole Miss beats Iowa State. Shout out Chris Beard. Taking Ole Miss to the first Sweet 16 since 2001. Ole Miss will be here to stay under Chris Beard. They just dominated Iowa State. We don't really need to go. They just dominated. It was straight domination. They did whatever they wanted. Iowa State just too injured on the game. And now the final game, Michigan State beats New Mexico to advance to take on Ole Miss in the Sweet 16 in Atlanta, 71-63. Look, this game, New Mexico, they played. I mean, they upset Marquette. I thought Dent played okay. I thought the big man Joseph was tremendous, but he got in some foul trouble. I thought as Neil, he started off the game hot, then they kept him in check. The defense for the Spartans was just big time. Again, Michigan State, they wear you down. Like it happens, like, oh, you're thinking, oh, we're close in the first half, but they just wear you down, man. They did it to the Big Ten all year to most teams. They did it to Bryant on Friday night, and then they do it to New Mexico here to just wear you down. Look, Jace Richardson played probably his D game, and they still won by 8. I thought Jaden Ankins obviously he's been big time. I thought their bigs were really good. I thought Cooper and Kohler were good in terms of walling up and just getting on the glass. I thought they were great there. Their guards obviously need to be better shooting wise. They only have 4 threes, but defense, like, they guard Michigan State, and that's a big thing. They guard. So look, if you're the Spartans, that's a great win. You need to get prepared for Ole Miss, because Ole Miss, look, they got some guards, man. They can play. But January, February, Izzo, man. Izzo said after last year, I think the quote was, oh, I will make another one in this tournament or die trying or something like that. Look, if he wins it, if he beats Ole Miss, he's in the Elite 8 for a chance to go back to another Final Four. And this isn't even his most talented team in years past. Look, he's had Tyson Walker, AJ Hogarth. Look, he's had some other talented teams that haven't made runs, but it feels like his less talented teams are more mentally tougher than maybe his talented teams, and he just makes runs with them. It's unbelievable. That's it for the games. In terms of the Sweet 16, this is what you got to look forward to on Thursday. On Thursday, the 4 games in the East region: BYU, Alabama, and Newark. West region, Maryland and Florida in San Francisco. East region in Newark, Arizona and Duke. West region, Arkansas and Texas Tech. In San Fran, obviously. And then Friday in Atlanta, you got Ole Miss at Michigan State. You got Kentucky at Tennessee and Indianapolis. You got Purdue at Auburn in Atlanta. And then you got Purdue and Houston and Indy. At this time next week, we will know who will be playing in the Final Four. So, look, we're down to 16. By this time next week, we'll be down to 4. I'll have the coverage all for you. Don't argue with this. Has been the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast, special NCAA tournament reaction edition. I have been your host, Noah Love, and until next time, see ya.